Welcome back to Old School Sports and to opening day of our 2027 season in Out of the Park Baseball 26 with our Colorado Rockies. And we are coming off of a surprising playoff season last year, and expectations are high for the team this year. So I guess the good news is that we have, it seems, turned the Rockies around somewhat more quickly than I would have anticipated, assuming that we do end up having a solid year this year. The negative thing, though, is that because we did so well last year, we're not going to be drafting particularly high this upcoming season. And we haven't really made a lot of progress with our farm system. We currently rank 19th among the minor league systems in baseball and have only two top 100 prospects. Charlie Condon, who's starting the year in AAA, who we inherited, and then Francisco Santos, who was our IAFA signing in our first IAFA period a couple years ago in 2025. So it's definitely good that we've made some progress, but I'd really like there to be a stronger farm system and a base of players that we're starting to bring into this organization that I feel we can build around for the long term. And definitely don't feel that I've been particularly successful with that thus far. One of the misfires who has been a popular topic of conversation in some recent episodes has been Jamie Arnold, who has dropped to the 191st ranked prospect in baseball as we begin this 2027 season. Arnold, who we picked fourth overall less than 2 years ago, looks like he can be a usable major league pitcher. I've definitely gotten some suggestions to trade him now while there's some value, and I think that's probably the right fictional baseball move. But part of the reason I picked Arnold is that I've gotten a bit more receptive to trying to bring on players with negative personalities in OOTP 26 at least, and I still want to kind of continue with this experiment with Arnold because he's got that low work ethic, which definitely could keep him from meeting his true potential. And we also, at least according to our scout, think that his true potential gets a little bit less and less every year, which is clearly unfortunate. But that said, we've had good luck with him in the development lab. He successfully completed a control program the season before last, and a few months ago he successfully completed a pitch movement program. So we've done all right with him in the development lab. It just seems like either we overestimated him seriously or his poor work ethic despite our best efforts is really resulting in his ceiling contracting, and you can see that he's moved from the number 12 prospect to 18 to 24 to 69, and now, as I noted, he's all the way down to number 191 in terms of the top prospects in baseball. So still hoping that he'll ultimately be a useful back of the rotation arm for us, maybe by next season, but has a lot of development ahead of him, which hopefully will happen in AAA this year. Outside of that, it's opening day, as I noted, and we are going to get this 2027 season underway. And as we take a high-level look at our roster, we went through all the details at the end of the last episode when we cut the team down to the 26 players who were headed north. Really only one addition among our 13 everyday players this past offseason. Chandler Simpson, who is going to be our leadoff hitter against righties, left fielder for us. Really interested in seeing what he can do with that blazing speed, and we are going to do everything possible to keep him active on the base paths. Other than that, the other 12 position players were all with us at times last year, so no real new additions there. The top of our rotation features Jesus Luzardo, our big free agent find, and Dustin May, who we traded for. New closer in Ryan Walker, and then we also made a trade for the left-handed reliever Drew Summers. So those are our primary off-season additions to the 86-win roster from last season that snuck into the playoffs, and certainly hoping that we get back there this year. And the first few weeks of the season have been going pretty well. We've won 4 in a row, including a sweep of our division rival Dodgers. So as we sit here on April 19th, 10-5 record has us tied with the Diamondbacks for the lead in the National League West. It seems weird to even be talking about the best record in baseball with a team here at just the start of our third year with the Rockies, but we're not too far off the best teams in baseball, which right now are the 12-4 Cardinals and the 12-4 Astros. You can see Ezekiel Tovar is third in the league in ribbies in the early going. Chandler Simpson, not surprising, leading the league in steals. Brenton Doyle is third. Tovar has a 14-game hitting streak that he had earlier. Jesus Luzardo off to a really nice start with us, tied for the league lead with 3 wins, 3-0 record, and leading the league in 28 strikeouts, although his earned run average of 4.30 is not particularly intimidating at this point to the pitchers of the National League, or to the hitters of the National League. The pitchers probably aren't all that impressed either. And we've made it into the month of May. Haven't been playing quite as well as that .667 winning percentage that we started off the season with in the first 15 games. But still sitting with a 17-10 record here on May 3rd. 1 game up on the Diamondbacks in the division now. Chandler Simpson continues to lead the league up to 14 stolen bases. He's also hitting .312 for us, so he's been a slightly above average offensive player for us, and he's already put up a 1 WAR for us, so definitely has worked out pretty well for us thus far, but it is early going. Pitching-wise, Luzardo and Dustin May, our 2 new additions to the rotation, are tied for second in the National League with 40 strikeouts, only 1 behind the Pirates' Paul Skeens. Taking a look at the team statistics, just over a month into the season, third in the National League in runs scored, and this one doesn't make a ton of sense to me. We were an average offensive team last year, finished 8th in the league in runs scored, and as I mentioned, the only addition we made to the team among our 13 position players on the roster this past off season was bringing on Chandler Simpson. As helpful as he is to our league best stolen bases and base running metrics, doesn't seem like a guy that single-handedly is going to get a team from middle of the pack to one of the top offensive teams in the league. The pitching has regressed a bit, though, this year. Middle of the pack, 8th in the league in runs allowed. I want to say we finished last year like 3rd or 4th in the National League, which was inexplicable to me for a team playing half of its games in Colorado. The starters, even with those 2 big additions at the top of the rotation, rank 11th in ERA, but the bullpen has been very good. Defensive efficiency above average and zone rating best in the National League. So trying to support the pitchers with good defense behind them. We've got some speed on the base paths now, particularly with Simpson on the team. Hopefully we can keep this good start going over the next several weeks and most importantly remain pretty healthy. Haven't really had any material injuries other than a couple of little day-to-day things over this first 4+ weeks of the season. And the good news is we've started off the month of May pretty well. Another sweep of the Dodgers. This one 4 games and on the road. We did lose 2 out of 3 at Arizona. but still sitting with a 22-12 record, half a game ahead of the Diamondbacks. Padres have lost 7 in a row in third base, and then the Dodgers and Giants both having brutal seasons so far. Of course, I spoke too soon last time we checked in when I mentioned that the injury situation was not an issue yet. It is now. Bo Bichette going to be out for about a month with a sprained ankle. He's having a much better second season in Colorado than his first, hitting .302 in the early going of this season with a 130 WRC plus and the 1.4 WAR that he's put up through his first 32 games of the year, almost what he did all of last year. So he'll definitely be missed. And Chandler Simpson has a hammy strain that's going to impact him for about a week. Moderate impact on his running, still leading the league with 15 stolen bases, still hitting over 300, but certainly anything that impacts his wheels is not a positive development. And the team's been playing closer to 500 baseball since the last time that we checked in a flat-footed tie for first in the NL West with the Diamondbacks. At this point, we're ahead of them by percentage points by virtue of having played 2 less games. Another injury, and this one unfortunately also significant. Brenton Doyle, the 4-time defending Gold Glove center fielder in the National League, going to be out for 6 weeks with post-concussion syndrome. He was having a nice year for us, 286 average, 7 homers and 18 ribbies in just 133 at-bats. Also had stolen 10 bases already, so he'd put up a 110 WRC plus and a 1.5 WAR. So losing Mr. Doyle will definitely be a significant loss for our defense, especially paired with our second baseman, Bo Bichette. And we've gone to some 4A type of guys who are experienced major league veterans that we had stashed in AAA for the injuries to Bichette and now more recently Doyle. Brought up Nick Gordon when Bichette went down with the injury. He's 2 for 9 for us for the veteran who we signed to a minor league contract just a couple of months ago. And then brought up Albert Almora Jr., who we signed to a minor league free agent contract in January. Good influence in the clubhouse, pretty solid defensively, and he was hitting .383 in AAA Albuquerque for what that's worth. Not expecting him to perform at that level in the majors as a 33-year-old, however. And Ezekiel Tovar just won the National League Player of the Week, hit .480, 4 homers and 10 ribbies. He is having a really nice offensive season for us for a second straight year. Good news is that despite those recent injuries, 25-15 record, still tied for the divisional lead with the Diamondbacks. The bad news is that even though we're putting up a .625 winning percentage here through the first 40 games of the year, we've lost a couple points in fan interest, and you can see the general attendance trend has kind of been a bit downwards since opening day. Hopefully as the weather gets better, children get out of school, when hopefully we continue playing well, we'll have better attendance and hopefully ultimately higher fan interest within the next few months. And another day, another injury, another one that's going to last for a while. Miguel Vargas, fractured thumb, going to be out for 6 weeks. We're hoping that after a disappointing first season and a half in Colorado, he might be more comfortable this year, particularly since we were playing him primarily against left-handed pitching, although he now is was in the lineup every day following the injury to Doyle. But he's going to be out for 6 weeks, hitting just .218 with only 2 homers and 78 at-bats for us this year. He's been a below replacement level player for the 3rd straight season, making $2.4 million this year, set to be making over $5 million in arbitration next year. Believe he's already on the trade block. If he isn't, though, we're going to make sure he's there. Likely going to be early July when he does get back, but have not been impressed with how he's done, given the way his ratings look. Definitely would have been expecting him to be a more productive player offensively than he has been for us over almost 2 full years at this point. And the injuries finally seem to be taking a bit of a toll. We've lost 6 of our last 8 games, including a 3-game sweep at home at the hands of the San Francisco Giants. Still in first place, as we're 2 up on the Diamondbacks, who have lost 4 in a row, but only 6.5 games from first to worst in the rapidly tightening NL West race. Another injury, as I kind of alluded to, that we're going to have to work our way through now. Cole Carrig, the young infielder, herniated disc in his back, going to cost him the next week and a half, 2 weeks. He's hitting .272 this year, 4 homers, 22 ribbies, has stolen 13 bases in 14 attempts, been an above-average offensive player for us with a 106 WRC+. So not optimal to lose Carrig on top of the other injuries that we are dealing with right now, but it is what it is. We're hopefully only a few days away from Bichette being back, so that'll at least normalize things a bit in the infield with his return. Still going to be down Vargas and Doyle, though, for a good month plus. And we did bounce back with a sweep of the Diamondbacks at home. 1 game left in the month now against Atlanta. Just had Austin Wells have a pretty big week, 10 for 18 with a homer and 10 ribbies. So he's pushed his batting average for the year up to .274 with 7 homers and 24 ribbies, playing in the outfield for us. And he also serves as our primary backup catcher to Drew Romo. And we lost our final game of May to the Atlanta Braves, unfortunately. Even more unfortunate than that, the downward trend in attendance and fan interest seems to be continuing. Fan interest has dipped to a 58. Not exactly sure what we need to do on the field to avoid things going in a negative direction, because at 31-22, we have a 5-game lead in the National League West, just 2 seasons away from being the worst team in baseball. Made the playoffs last year and leading the division now this year. But the fans don't really seem to be all that enthusiastic about coming out to the ballpark. Certainly have benefited from the Diamondbacks losing 8 in a row, as we sit here on June 1st, we're the only team in the National League West with a winning record. Ezekiel Tovar having a really nice year for us, 2nd in the league with 42 ribbies. Chandler Simpson still leading the league in steals, although his pace has slowed down. He has been dealing with some injury issues, though, so he hasn't been in the lineup as consistently. Luzardo is still 2nd in the American League with 76 strikeouts, trailing just the man from Pittsburgh, Mr. Skeens. Take a little bit of a deeper dive into the team statistics now. Winning records in both April and May, but only 2 games above 500 for the month of May. Our overall 31-22 record, right in line with Pythagorean expectations. The offense remains outstanding, 2nd in the National League in runs scored, and we are 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in all of the primary offensive and speed-related categories in the National League, with the exception of walks, where we're a middle-of-the-pack 10th. The pitching has improved a bit as well, 6th in the National League in runs allowed. The starters much better in the month of May than they were in April, even though we weren't winning as many games on the field. Have the starters' ERA down to 3.80, which is 5th in the league. With half of our games in cores, if we can stay in the top half in the league in runs allowed, I'll feel like we're in a pretty good spot. And we've made it midway through June, and we are definitely struggling. A 3-7 record in our last 10, only 2 up on the Padres, 3 up on the Diamondbacks, and 3.5 up on the Dodgers. So a very tight race here in the National League West. Ezekiel Tovar continues to have an outstanding season, tied for second in the league in homers, and he is second in the league in ribbies while also hitting .287. Chandler Simpson been a lot more active on the base paths of late, still hitting over 300 on the year with 29 stolen bases. Austin Wells had a 16-game hitting streak earlier. And Luzardo continues to have a very strong first season in Colorado, tied for the league lead with 9 wins, a 9-2 record, second in the league with 98 strikeouts, and he's got the ERA just under 4 as we sit here on June 14th. And our Rockies have been playing a bit better over the last couple of weeks. We took a 2-game series against the Angels, then took 2 out of 3 at home against the Padres, 2 out of 3 on the road at Milwaukee, although we did just lose 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. 3 games left before we get to the month of July at home against the Brewers. As we sit here on June 28th, 3.5 game lead on the division over both the Padres and the Dodgers. So season's going reasonably well. Ezekiel Tovar now leading the league in ribbies. Chandler Simpson continues to lead the league in stolen bases. Ezekiel Tovar tied with PCA behind only Francisco Lindor in the race for leading the National League in batter war. Jesus Luzardo continues to have a nice year, 10-2 record, 3.79 ERA, second in the National League with 112 strikeouts. So he has certainly been a good addition for the Rockies. And we took the final 2 out of 3 games in the month of June against the Brewers. We'll be trying to ensure we win the series today here on July 1st rather than ending up in a tie. Jesus Luzardo, an outstanding June 5-0 record, National League Pitcher of the Month with a 2.41 ERA and 41 Ks in 33 2/3 innings. So as we sit here on July 1st, a 45-34 record, 3.5 up on the Dodgers, 4 up on the Padres, 6 up on the Diamondbacks, and 10.5 games up on the San Francisco Giants in the National League West. Quick look at the team statistics before we finish. Once again, had a slightly winning record, 2 games over 500 in the month of June. 45-34 record is actually 3 worse than expectations. We're still second in the National League in runs scored and generally one of the top teams in most offensive categories, although we are now second to last in the National League in walks. Pitching, thanks to Luzardo, a big part, remains very strong as well, 4th in the National League in runs allowed, and we're in the top 4 in every primary pitching category except for walks, where we rank dead last. So we are very bad in terms of giving up walks, and our players are also very bad in terms of drawing walks. Other than that, we're an above-average team. Above average with 5th ranked defensive efficiency and 3rd in zone rating as well. So the season is off to a pretty solid start. We did get Vargas back just a while ago. So center fielder Brenton Doyle, the only significant injury here as we begin July. Certainly as we think about the next episode, we'll be doing our mid-season review when we get that from ownership, which will likely be at the very start of that next episode. And then we'll also start thinking about who's available on the trade block, what areas we might want to improve on this team. And then we'll sim ahead about 10 days from now to the first-year player draft. And we are not going to be in a particularly great position, picking 24th overall. But it definitely looks like this pool is stronger than the first few that we have had here, at least according to their high-end potential and according to our scout, who I'm still not convinced is all that proficient at what he does. But I think there should be some interesting players available for us to consider at pick number 24. And we will talk all about them and some of the opportunity set that's ahead of us in the next episode. Until then, thanks so much for watching and hope you have a great day.